Well, I believe it's important because the federal government more and more is just usurping powers that belong to the state, and they are imposing mandates on us. And, this isn't something that is only recent, although recently it is extreme, but this really has been happening for decades. And I think I just want Tennessee to join the movement of many other states to remind the federal government of state sovereignty and work towards reversing all of these mandates and violations of the Constitution.
Well, this has absolutely been going on, much earlier than this current administration and even the administration before it. Like you said, for decades, we've seen this incremental slide towards federal power and just the states' rights being eviscerated. But like you said, with this administration and what's coming down the line, it seems like they're going for a large power grab. And this is not the only resolution out there. There are many states that are trying this right now. I believe Texas is one of them. I think Colorado is one of them. I know that New Hampshire just had a vote and they lost. Why is it important to win, to get a couple wins? I'm saying it's great that we're putting these bills out there. We're creating awareness of states' rights and, saying, look, federal government doesn't have all the power that they say they do. Basically they'll just say, we're the executives, we get to do what we want. But that's not the case. We were supposed to have checks and balances in this country. There were 3 branches of government. But it seems like the populace has been so dumbed down, they can't even tell you what those three branches are. So
no.
Are we going to be able to win? I mean, a couple of these, do you think we can win this one in Tennessee?
I am currently, as you and I speak, I'm writing a letter to my colleagues. I don't want them to view this as a partisan issue. In Tennessee, the House is very close. 50 Republicans, 49 Democrats. Mm-hmm. And I want them to see this as a federalism issue, not a partisan issue. That's very, very important to me. I wish I had thought of filing something like this under the previous administration. I would have done it then. I did not even see this movement until this summer. I saw Oklahoma did this, and I thought, how wonderful. I kind of tucked it away because we don't go back into session until January. And in January, I came up with this resolution. And the way I did it was I studied all of the other states that had filed resolutions. And some of them were very historical. Some of them were very long. Some of them are much shorter, more to the point. And I sort of went with a shorter, more to the point resolution. Though I love the historical aspect of the other resolutions. It's just my style to keep it shorter and cleaner that way. Mm-hmm. And I am just hoping that my colleagues will see this as an issue of federalism. As state legislators, we have a right to make our own laws. These federal mandates that they put on us, they force us to change our laws to do what they want us to do, ties our hands, and it increases our budget. And it ties our hands for years and years. And as state legislators, we have a right to make our own laws for the people of Tennessee. The people of Tennessee have the right to make their own laws. And so do the people of Oklahoma or California or anywhere they want. And that's the way they want to live, fine. But we all don't have to live the way the federal government tells us to live.
Well, more and more people are waking up to that fact. But, from cradle to grave, we're raised that the office of the presidency is the number one office, and we should obey the federal government. And there's not a lot of states' rights taught in, the middle schools and high schools and grade schools anymore. I mean, they're just not there. And you kind of have to wake people up and say, everything's not the same. It's just like you go into another state, and the speed limit might be a little bit different, or the drug laws might be a little bit different. We might not have 3 state strikes here. And that's why we have these states' rights, because you have a choice in this country. You can move somewhere else. You can abide by their laws. But these guys want to come in and they want to federalize everything. What was it about this current administration? You said you thought about doing a bill. If you had thought about it, you would have done it in the last administration. But what is it with this administration that makes you so weary and now is the time is right to put this out there?
Oh, good heavens. The advance of socialism. And I know the media is trying to get us all not to say that, but that's exactly what it is. I am a firm capitalist. I am just very firm in our republic and our form of government, which is capitalism, our economic system. Very, very firm in that. I know it is the best thing. I truly believe in my heart it is the best route to prosperity for the people of this nation. And what is happening now is not a route to prosperity. It's really a route to really a lot of suffering. And it's very sad. This increase in federal spending, to me, is absolutely astounding. Economies go through cycles, and you can call it the business cycle, you can call it the credit cycle, whatever you want, but it really is the credit cycle. And what happens is it's just very typical. People tend to max out on credit, and so the economy's good, everybody's spending and borrowing and spending and borrowing, and we get to the point where everybody maxes out, and then it's like a hangover. We have really overdone it this time. We are in a huge hangover. But instead of the federal government lowering our taxes and providing the opportunity for people to pay down debt, and those who didn't go into extraordinary debt to invest that money in opportunities and to start, the cycle all over, creating jobs and getting people back to work. Instead of doing that, what they have chosen to do is tax us more, to spend more money on programs that don't produce anything. It's not like, you're taking a hunk of rock, getting metal out of it, and turning that metal into something more valuable. That's not what they're doing. They're simply spending money on things that are then gone. We need people to invest in America and create jobs, to spend money on things that actually take a raw material and produce something else. That's not going to happen under this. Investors are very wary, they're scared, and they are losing their ability to invest. And then the people, the ordinary people, they don't have the money to pay off their debt. They are suffering, and more they are losing their jobs. We need the taxes lowered so that people can pay down debt and get this going again. This plan that they're doing will not get us going again.
Well, you mentioned that this was a socialist plan, and you said, the media is trying to really cover that up. I don't see it that way at all. I mean, I look at Newsweek's cover just 3 weeks ago, and you have a red hand shaking a blue hand, and the title of the article, or the cover, is "We Are All Socialists Now." So if people aren't getting that the federal government, in this time when people are losing their jobs more than ever, I got an article here, they're admitting 651,000 job losses in February alone. It's the worst in 25 years. And, he says, we're going to build all these programs and we're going to build infrastructure. Where is it? Where are these programs? And where, like you said, we don't build anything in this country anymore. It seems like the last industry that we had was the auto industry. And now GM is saying, we need another $3.5 billion or we're not going to make it. So how are we going to turn this around? I just see a lot of suffering for the immediate future and even longer term. I just see a lot of suffering of people, and I'll tell you, it just breaks my heart. It just absolutely breaks my heart. What I'm trying to do in Tennessee is get the message out to my fellow state legislators is, look, right now at this time, we need a deregulation stimulus package. There are so many things that the state literally owns title to, and that is what I mean by that is occupational licensure, where you cannot work in a specific occupation without getting a license from the state. You can't call yourself, a certain title like a private investigator or something without literally getting a license from the state to do that. If you look at these licensure laws, you will see there's so many hoops that people have to jump through just to work. And so, while we in Tennessee, we have a sales tax system, we don't have an income tax that we could lower or anything like that. But what we can do is enact some deregulation to help people get working again, to make it easier for people to work instead of jumping through hoops. That is what, I'm trying to do in Tennessee, but overall in the federal government, we need them to stop spending money on these ridiculous, wasteful things, lower taxes. What could be any better than them lowering the capital gains tax right now, lowering income tax rates right now, business tax rates right now? It would sure spur the economy. The spending that they have planned and that they are currently distributing, it's not going to help that at all. And in fact, a lot of the spending, when it trickles down to the states, it will force us to change our state laws in some areas permanently, to change our state laws just for 2 years worth of money, to permanently change those laws. I don't want money like that.
In particular, I'm talking about the unemployment help. Our governor has said that he thinks he's going to turn that down. We don't need money like that. We are Tennesseans. We have the right to make our own laws and to run our own unemployment system according to the way that we think it ought to be run, and we don't need the federal government ordering us on how to run programs such as that.
How can people support you? Is there a website or a phone number they can call?
Well, I have a website. You can just Google me, Susan Lynn, or repsusanlynn.com. And then also I have a blog on Blogspot, so I can be found on Blogspot.
All right, thank you so much, Susan Lynn. This is something that we'll be looking at. Remember, states' rights are important. We need people to get behind this. We need a couple W's. We need to pass this. We need to get this through. We need to say the federal government is not God. This is the Alex Jones Show. I am Jason Bermas. PrisonPlanet.tv, Infowars.com.